2. Whoo!
Welcome to Authenticity Lab, a podcast where we celebrate reconnecting with our authentic selves. I'm Dr. Kelsey Miles. I'm a musician, a songwriter, and also a chemistry professor. Each week, I will share real stories and break them down with none other than the scientific method to help you live more boldly, lead with curiosity, and find what truly makes you who you are. Are you ready? Let's dive in. Today's episode is part of a mini-series where I'm diving into each step of the method, the framework we use to move forward in our lives and find out how to really connect with who we are. It's the scientific method. And today's episode, we are talking about the first part of the scientific method, which is to ask a question. Now, if you've listened to any of the podcast episodes up to date, you might have noticed that some of the episodes don't apply to you. Some of the episodes you just don't resonate with. And that's because the question of the episode is not something that is unique to you. So in today's episode, by the end of it, you're going to have a question that you specifically want to work on. I want to first just congratulate you for being here. Everyone who's listening to this podcast, I'm talking to you, are someone who is brave. It takes so much courage to really look within. It's so much easier to avoid. It's so much easier to think everyone else is the problem. It's so much easier to put that wall up and push people and push life away. It takes a lot of bravery to decide that not only one, are you worth it, but two, there is so much more that your life can be. And so I just want to make sure that you recognize how brave and courageous you are being. I'd like for you to find a comfortable place where you can sit. I've put on some comfortable clothes so that way I can really lean into this episode. We'll be doing a little bit of a meditation and breathing exercise, and we're going to uncover some not so fun things. So if you are, for example, in between meetings or at work, this might not be the best episode to listen to right now. So go ahead and pause and come back when you're able to relax and find some space in your day to really treat yourself through this exercise. Before we begin, you'll need something to write with, a pen or a pencil, and something to write on, blank piece of paper or a notebook. Go ahead and pause this episode and grab that, and then come back to your comfortable seated or lying down position. And let's begin. So in order to find a good question, we really need to find out something within you that maybe you're avoiding, or something within you that you're worried about, or something within you that makes you feel anxiety. These things are often fear-based. These things inside of us are the ones that we push down into the box and we put a piece of tape over top of it and we hope that it doesn't come flying out when we get triggered. But if you're anything like me, you know that that happens. And I found that for me, when I look around and take the time to find those mystery boxes inside of me that I've been avoiding or not really wanting to deal with, I know you know what I'm talking about. When I do that and when I work on them, when I have the capacity to, it does something really remarkable. Now, it's not, like I said in the beginning of the episode, it's not easy. This is why I really think you're brave going through this. As a scientist, I love not knowing. I love the unknown. So this comes really naturally to me. When we decide to open those boxes and times when we have the capacity and the time to do so, we give ourselves the permission to build a more unshakable foundation, to become more connected with ourselves. And it opens up doors you didn't even know existed. It creates a life of ease and joy, and that's where we're going towards. We don't have to walk around with that worry and fear and anxiety. It does take stepping into the unknown. But you also have to be brave enough to look inside those boxes. So I'm going to have you close your eyes and start to settle in to where you're sitting or where you're laying down. And notice your body getting a little heavy. Maybe move it around a little. Find the most comfortable spot. And we're going to take a few breaths that are intentional, breathing in through our nose and out through our mouths. One more, just like that. And out. One more, big deep breath in and out. With your slowed breath, I'm going to share with you the next thing we're going to do. We're going to let our brain and our body know that everything is okay and we are safe. We're going to do something called a double breath or a double sigh. We're going to take a big deep breath in through our nose, hold it, and one more little deep breath in and out. Let's do that again. Big deep breath in. And one more little breath and out. And one more just like that. Big deep breath in. And one more. Great. You can slowly start to breathe normally here as your eyes are closed and you feel relaxed. The breath we just did reminded our brain that there's nothing stressful around us. Throughout this practice, if you notice any thoughts come up, just focus back on your breath and then focus back on what I'm asking you to think about. Now focus on something in your life that makes you worried. Something in your life that causes you anxiety. Something that you're avoiding. Something you don't really want to work on. It can be anything, big or small. You'll just choose one. Just choose one. Now that you have that in your mind, notice where you feel it in your body. As you think about that thing that worries you, the thing you're avoiding, do you feel it in the pit of your stomach? Do you feel it in your chest? Do you feel it pushing your shoulders down? Do you feel it at the top of your head, right at your forehead, or maybe in your neck? Now notice how it feels. Does it feel heavy? Does it feel constricting? Does it have a color? I know this might feel uncomfortable right now. So now I want you to talk to it. Tell it that it's okay. Tell it that it's allowed to be in your life. Tell that feeling, that heaviness, wherever it's at in your body. Thank it for being here. Thank it for showing itself to you. It's absolutely okay that it's here. It's absolutely okay that it feels heavy. It's absolutely okay that it brings you worry. With this in mind, allow that worry, allow that anxiety, that feeling in your body, wherever it's at, allow it to. expand, allow it to get as dark and as heavy as it needs to be. Allowing it to be okay for it to fully express itself. Let it get as big as possible. If this becomes overwhelming, go back and focus on your breath. Big deep breath in and out. That thing you're avoiding, the thing that brings you anxiety, the pit in your stomach, the heaviness in your chest, wherever you feel it, let it get as big as possible. Now that you feel it fully, listen. Listen to what it says to you. What's the concern? Why does it bring you worry? Let it say whatever it needs to. Let it tell you the problem. Let it tell you what it's afraid of. Let it tell you where it feels stuck. Let it tell you it doesn't know. Let it tell you all the things in your past that make it worry. As you listen, you might find it opens up more and tells you more. Keep listening. Keep listening. Now that you've heard what it needed to say, we're going to introduce the feeling of okay. That it's okay that it said those things. It's okay that it feels heavy. I want you to tell that thought that you've got this. You will make progress through this. And however scary or worrisome or however much anxiety it feels, you hear it. And it's okay. It's welcome. Now thank it. Thank that heavy feeling for sharing. Let it know it was heard. Hold on to what it told you. It's important. And you're grateful it shared. Slowly start to wiggle in your seat. Maybe move your hands, touch your fingertips to each other. Slowly start to open your gaze. Waking back up to the present moment we're in. Let's write down what we heard. Pause this episode right now and write down everything that you heard. No matter how small or how big, write it all down. If you have your I Am Lyrical Journey, there's pages in the very back of it that are empty that you can use for this. Take a moment and write down everything that it shared. Let's look at what you wrote down. On your list, you're going to find some real truths, things that maybe you are afraid are true. And we are going to develop an experiment to find out, because often when we worry and have anxiety, it's because we actually don't have enough data around it. And we avoid it because getting data is scary. Running experiments and jumping into the unknown is very scary. What you wrote down is highlighting something that you are and can be curious about. Let's say you wrote something down about a relationship and you just feel like you aren't getting your needs met, and you wrote down something about, I'm too afraid to voice my needs. The question could be simply, what would it look like if I voiced my needs? Let's say that you want to write a book. Maybe you wrote down something about, I'm really worried. I've been avoiding writing my book, and maybe your concern, your worry, anxiety said to you, I'm not sure if it's going to be good enough. Maybe your question would be, what would it look like if I just wrote a bad draft to take a small step in that direction? Think of a question that could shine a light on that concern. The idea is that the question you're going to come up with shines a light on the thing that you're most worried about, because it spoke to you when you told it was okay, it was there. It's that hidden thing that we push down. So think of a question. You can write it down underneath one of the statements you made. Think of a question that would shine a light on that thing that you're worried about. I know I asked you to really dive in and write about some things that are heavy. And so use this piece of paper as a place where you can write down concerns, anxiety, things that come up throughout the week. You're being really brave by deciding to move forward on these things. And at the same time, I know how easy it is to get stuck there. I will say this, avoiding these things is a form of stuckness. So the fact that you spent any time to write it down and say, I see you, it's okay that you're here, I applaud you for being brave to do this. I want to end with the following practice. I'm going to have you close your eyes one more time. I promise I didn't want to leave you in a state that feels heavy. Go ahead and close your eyes. We'll just spend 2 minutes here. Big deep breath in. I want you to thank yourself. Thank you for diving into some of those heavy, worrisome boxes. As you breathe, put your attention to the worry, the concern, that anxiety that spoke up. Feel where it's at in your body. Notice wherever it was placed before. It's still there. We're still going to work on it. And I want you to tell it, I'm going to help you. It's okay that you're here. Thank you for sharing with me. I've got this. It's okay. You've helped guide me. I want you to start to notice with each breath, deep breath in, how the worry will slowly start to go away. Because you have a plan. And it's there to guide you. And you listened. Bring your attention back to your fingertips. slowly start to open your eyes when you're ready. Come back to this breathing if you feel it getting to be too heavy. Next week, we're going to talk about your hypothesis and your experiment. You're doing the work. It's not easy, but you're developing an unshakable foundation. And this is how you do it. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, invite them in on this journey. Please also email me if anything comes up for you. I would love to know what you're working on. I want to know what question you have. I want to know if you struggled coming up with a question. I want to know what it is that you're working on, and that can help me help you on the next episode. You can share it with me at Kelsey. It's Kelsey, Kelsey, at kelseymiles.com. That's my email. Or you can join me on kelseymiles.com/thelab, THELAB. Next week, I'll be diving into the next steps of the scientific method, drawing a hypothesis, and designing an experiment. And this is going to help us as we continue to live boldly, lead with curiosity, and keep being our most amazing, authentic selves.
Yeah, that house will always call you.